Hey, it's Jeff 650 Cycle. I have decided to do a final ride video for my GL650. This is probably my final ride. I have gotten a different motorcycle, so I kind of wanted to do a tribute to this one because I still love this bike. It is still very much a part of me at this point. Always will be. So I'm just gonna go live with somebody else though, hopefully. It's still a very important bike to me. It's still a great bike overall. So I'm also doing this as a ride video for any potential buyer of this bike. I'm just gonna go out, I'm gonna do a ride, I'm gonna tell you the history of this bike with me, just as a tribute to this bike. But then also you can see how things run and operate and that it shifts and all of that. It doesn't overheat, that kind of stuff. So, all right, let's get going. She can be a little cold-blooded. Let's let her warm up just a little bit. Usually I choke it, and then once it starts idling down, I'll kill the choke and it's fine to go. You can tell when it's ready to go. The RPMs will come up just a little bit. It's getting there. Let me fix the... I got some strap coming out of that bag. Alright, you hear the RPMs up just a little bit. I'm gonna hop on, take off. It's on a center stand right now. One thing I still love about these old bikes is the center stand. There we go. She's a little squeaky. Now, I haven't been on this bike in a week. I've been on a different bike. So we will see how my skills... I'll tell you what, I'm so much more comfortable on this bike. That's what riding 22,000 miles will do for you. It makes you comfortable on a bike. I don't think I'm going to take a real long ride today. Go out and stretch it out a little bit. I will turn the blinker on. I don't know if you can see the turn signal on or not. All the brakes work. I do have a couple other ride videos. I was featuring more of the trip or the road that I was riding on as opposed to the bike. I want to focus on the bike right now. You see my trips at 100. Usually around 140 I start looking for gas. I can usually go 160 before I have to hit reserve. And I don't like to ride that far. I mean, if I know that I can get, if I know 3 miles up the road there's a gas station, I'll do that. But I don't generally run it right up to the reserve and run it out from there. I have gone 170 without hitting the reserve, but I don't think that's very consistent. Man alive, does this thing corner good. I get a lot more lean out of this bike than I do the Ultra. That's part of the fun of riding, is that lean. Just to give you a sense of the shifting and acceleration, I there is no issues there. I don't know if the clutch has ever been replaced. I got it with 36,000 miles on it and really haven't had an issue. Every once in a while, like when you go to pass somebody, you get up into the higher RPMs, there's a little bit of slippage. So at some point, you know, it's got 58,000 miles on it if it's never been replaced. It's not an issue, but just every once in a while you kind of feel something to make you think, oh, I wonder if this clutch has ever been changed, and then it goes away and you forget about it. Off we go. I've been riding a bike with 6-speed for a week, so I'm kind of transferring that into my shifting. You can see there it gets up to speed. It is a 650. It's not a 1200 or an 1800 or whatever. It doesn't do bad. I've never had any problem getting up into speed, getting into traffic, all of that. So as far as all of that goes, everything works as it should. It runs as it should. You just got to remember it is a 650, so it's not going to be, you're not going to go out and outrun anybody. Let me give you a little history of me and this bike. And so it was the like November, December time frame of 2016. I saw this bike sitting out in front of a guy's house, out kind of on the side of his garage, underneath the downspout, or so it looked. The windshield was off, the seat was all tore up. And I kind of knew what it was. I mean, I knew it was a GL650 or a CX500, whatever. I was familiar with the model enough to know what it was. And I thought, well, you know, I'll keep an eye on it. So I kept an eye on it. It sat out there all winter, never moved, never got touched. I stopped in, I think it was February, March, and I stopped to see if he'd be interested in selling it, and he was, and we talked a little bit, and he said, well, how much do you think you want for it? And he said, anyways, let's just say I got a really good deal on it. And I took it home. I had no idea if it ran. It did have a title. It took him a while to find it, but he did have it. So we got the title, got it home. I went through everything. I put brakes on it. Put tires on it, went through the brakes, got all the lights working, did all of that stuff on it. Had my buddy Mike go through the carbs, got it back. Yeah, I actually rode it back from his house. It just rode beautiful. You know, I've pretty much been riding it ever since. And every once in a while I do a little something to it, like put different handlebars on it, or I've pretty much got it right now in the configuration that I want it in, that I like it in. I have Goldwing handlebars on it, which are a little bit wider stance. I really like those. Turn the corner already, lady. It's got the taller windscreen. The other one, it was hitting me right in the center of my helmet, and I didn't like that. So I put a taller windscreen on it, other various things throughout the 3 years I've had it. I really have it right now where I want it, and it runs very well. A part of the reason that this bike is so special to me and that I wanted to do a tribute was that this is the bike that I was riding when I took coach prep to become a certified motorcycle safety instructor for the MSF organization. I rode this bike down to Macomb County. It's like 2.5 hours down there for me from where I'm at. On the weekends for 4 weekends in a row. Rode it all over while I was down there and did the class on this bike. And then during the week, I would come home and I would go over to the range where I was going to be teaching at, and I would ride all the exercises to become familiar with them. So I am incredibly connected with this bike. I spent a lot of time on it, and the time I spent on it was learning new skills and developing new skills, and that was all done on this bike. And that's part of why this is so special. I took the class with a lot of guys that were riding, you know, newer Harleys and expensive bikes, some new Victories, stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm riding my old Honda, and I did really well with it. I really showed my ability, and I really feel comfortable. I still feel comfortable on this bike. Quite honestly, I feel more comfortable on this than I do my Ultra, but when you got 22,000 miles on something, you really should be feeling comfortable at that point. And developed all those skills on this bike. I now have a new bike that I need to do that with, where I need to go out and develop those skills so that I feel as comfortable on that as I do this. I've not ridden this in a week. I've been on an entirely different bike. I hop on this, and right now I'm one with this bike. I know how this bike's going to react, how it's going to handle when somebody backs out in front of you. All of that. I know what's going to happen. I know what this bike is going to do. I know how it's going to react to my input. This is the twistiest road within miles of where I live, unfortunately. The only time it's let me down was when the stator went out on it. There's never been a time where I've been concerned with the performance of this bike or it letting me down or anything like that. Riding it after a week of riding another bike right now, it really makes me appreciate the time I've spent on it, because I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. When I'm riding my new bike, I'm like, okay, what gear am I in? I gotta think. On this, it just happens. And I've got to get to that point on my new bike just to be more comfortable and confident on it. Coming up to a stop, let's check out the brakes. Not even the hardest braking I can do on it. Like I said, never had an issue with the brakes. They function good, they work good. And I keep thinking there's another gear there, but there's not. My wife the other day said, "Are you sure you want to get rid of it? You sure you want to sell it?" I said, "You know what? I'm pretty sure I want to sell it." I said, "Yeah, I have to. You know, I got another bike. I got to ride that." I don't know, man. Hopping on this thing right now, it's like, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't hurt my feelings if it didn't sell. I don't have room for it, but if it didn't sell, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. I'll ride this bike. I'll ride this bike forever. I have intended to. No, I think at some point I knew that at some point we would be getting a bigger bike, something better for touring for the two of us. Like I said, I've gone all over, up to the UP, Traverse City, and taken some one-day trips, just me. Sometimes the wife goes. And for just me, it's perfectly comfortable. I ride it. I have no problem riding it. It works the way it should for me. say, this may be the final ride of the GL650. I'm feeling nostalgic because it really is hitting me how connected I am to this bike and how much this bike is part of me. A V-twin, which means that it's a little torqueier. I went from an inline 4 to this, and this is much more comfortable in this situation of riding on a street doing 30 miles an hour, you know, and from the 30 miles an hour picking up some speed. The inline 4 is it's a higher RPM engine. You got to get it going up in the RPMs to get it to work the way it's supposed to. That seems like a lot of work, you know? It's hard enough jogging. Put 2 kids in a stroller in front of you. Guess it's good exercise. But you see this, you see that lean angle I get? You know, that's from 22,000 miles and 3 years of connection, and I know where that is, and I know how far I can go on that. I know how to make that work around a corner. I'm still learning that on my new bike. So I'm gonna miss that connection, I guess, as much as I miss the bike. See, I mowed my lawn last night so that I could go ride motorcycles today. That's what I do. So a little short ride, what was it, 12 miles? Yep, Mama's home. Gotta go close the video. You can see my new ride sitting there. Never thought that would happen. It is an 08 Ultra Classic. It was my uncle's bike, and looking for something that was a little better for touring for the 2 of us. That really fit the bill, and I've been enjoying the ride on it. But I definitely, after riding this, definitely feel the need to spend some more time on it and to get more connected with it. I got too much junk on my cement right now. So there you have it. The 83 GL650 Silverwing Interstate. Final ride. I'll show you where the temp gauge is. Come back up. Usually runs just below that mark. It's right about there now. Well, I had to take it for a final ride. Yeah. I'll be in a minute. So there is the final ride of the GL650. Maybe. I don't know. If nobody buys it, then I guess I get to keep it. I think somebody will buy it, though. It's been a fantastic bike, and I have thoroughly enjoyed owning it and riding it and learning new skills on it and getting better at riding it. So there is the final tribute, along with a ride video for any potential buyers of this bike. That is me signing out, and I want you to ride safe.